The San Jose Sharks host the Seattle Kraken on a small homestand here. Here's what you need to know.
You're Locked On Sharks, your daily podcast on the San Jose Sharks, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, welcome to Locked On Sharks, the premier hockey podcast covering your favorite team in the Bay Area. My name is JD Young, caretaker at the Reef, also the co-host of Locked On NHL. I want to thank you for making Locked On Sharks your first listen. Proudly part of Locked On Network. We cover your team every day, and we continue our 8 to 10 minute previews of tonight's game. Of course, the San Jose Sharks hosting the Seattle Kraken. The Sharks are coming off a game where they played pretty well, but unfortunately were not able to tie things up late against the Edmonton Oilers. For the Seattle Kraken, they completely dominated the Vancouver Canucks, winning 5-0 on Wednesday, and have been playing okay-ish hockey as of late. For the season series, the Sharks have won the first two games 8-5 and then 4-2, and then lost the last game in end of January at 6-2. So this is the end of the season series. So let's take a look at how these two teams are kind of performing and how they match up here. Seattle Kraken 32-38-6. The San Jose Sharks 20-45-10. The Kraken offense not too bad. 3.00 goals per game, 15th in the NHL. 3.18 goals allowed, 23rd in the NHL. The power play is operating at 18.8%, 25th, and the PK is 77.3%, 20th in the NHL. For the Sharks, 2.57 goals for, 31st. 3.73 goals allowed, 32nd. Power play at 19%, and the PK at 74%, good for 23rd and 27th, respectively. Schwartz leads the team, the Kraken, in goals of 23. McCann leads the team in assists and points at 37 and 55. For the Sharks, Toffoli leads the team in goals of 28. Eklund in assists and points at 38 and 35. The way these two teams match up, the Kraken, like the offense, definitely outperforms expectations at 5-on-5. Like they're kind of the 21st in the NHL when it comes to shot attempts and expected goals for. They're 28th, but the actual goals 14th. So they're kind of shooting above expectations for where the offense is. For the Sharks, of course, they are near the bottom of the league in all categories. But defensively, though, the Kraken will give up shot attempts. 29th when it comes to you giving up actual shot attempts. The Sharks 31st, of course. Expected goals against 27th, goals against 24th for the Kraken. So the Kraken will definitely give you opportunities, but it's for the Sharks, right? Can you take advantage of said opportunities? The Kraken are 7th in the division behind only the Sharks behind them, 28th in point percentage. It's again, the offense they've been shooting a little bit better than you would expect. The power play, I think we'll talk about it more in a second, but I think the special teams are going to be a big factor in tonight's game. And the goalie situation has improved, that they've not been riding Grubauer as much. So here's how the Kraken line up. Neiman, Beniers, and Kakko at the top. Kakko has been a revelation for them since they acquired him from the Rangers. He's really found his groove, so just something to keep in mind. Tolvanen, Stevenson, and Eberle up second line. McCann, Wright, and Burakovsky on the third line. Eyssimont, Hayden, and Cartier on the fourth line. Dunn, Larson on the first pairing. Evans, Montour on the second pairing. Jamie, I'm going to get this right. Jamie Olekowski on the with Fleury on the third pairing, and then Decord and Grubauer in net. So what to watch for in this game is the Kraken, looking at the top scorers, right? A lot of those guys are kind of similar to what the Sharks are, but they're just a much deeper team. So whose units can kind of perform better? And I think it's going to come down to the bottom, right? You look at the bottom six for the Kraken, which is a much stronger group than the Sharks' bottom six. But I think the Sharks' top 6 has better top end talent, right? Celebrini, Will Smith, Toffoli, William Eklund, like all those guys, I think, potentially better than, or at least it's a wash with some of them with like Matty Benier. Like the Sharks just have, I think, higher top end talent, but the Kraken are just a much deeper team. So whose group can kind of take over, right? Is it the Kraken's bottom 6, which has that third line, which has been a big part of their scoring, with McCann and Wright and Burakovsky? If that third line has their way tonight, I think the Sharks are in for a long night. But if the Sharks' top 6 can kind of control the pace and make life easier for their bottom 6, I think that's going to be the Sharks' path to victory. So which unit between the top 6 for the Sharks and the bottom 6 for the Kraken can kind of establish their game tonight? So that's going to be number 1. We know Alexander Georgiev is starting for the San Jose Sharks. It's good to see him back after missing last game where they had to bring up Carrier. For the Kraken, I don't know if we actually got to the official who's starting tonight, but I do like Georgiev, right? Expected to start. Can he continue to build on the performances that we saw? Because he played really well, in his against the Ducks, the game that they lost in the we don't know who the goalie is going to be. Sorry, for the Kraken. Georgiev did play really well against the Ducks in the game that they lost in shootout. Can Georgiev continue to build on that momentum, or do we go back to Forviev in this game? And I think, again, that bottom 6 could have a massive amount of what happens in this game, right? Especially if that bottom 6 continues to put the Sharks' top 6 in a bad situation where they're always starting their own defensive zone. Like that, it could be a long night for the Sharks. But the second thing, though, is Georgiev, right? Can you build on the performance that we saw against the Ducks, especially coming off a minor injury here? So, and I think as we're, I know I kind of say a lot about like special teams, and a game like this where both the special teams are pretty even, who takes advantage, right? Sharks power play slightly better than the Kraken's power play. Kraken's PK slightly better than the Sharks PK. Whose special teams can set the tone right and maybe get that big kill or get that big goal when you need it most? So I do think this is an entertaining game. These two teams have played a lot of entertaining games. And I think there's actually going to be a fair amount of goals tonight. Give me a 4-3 Kraken win. I think I'm going to keep saying it, but I do think Celebrini gets off the schneid. He's been very close lately. I think he gets off the schneid tonight and scores a big goal for the Sharks. But I think the Kraken's bottom 6 right now, I just think they're just much better than the Sharks' bottom 6. So tragic number for the Sharks entering the game, 12. Combination of Chicago points earned and San Jose Sharks points surrendered or not earned. 12. That's the magic. That's the tragic number for the Sharks to secure the top pick in the draft. So things are going to continue to go down to the wire. So we'll have a full recap on your next episode of Locked On Sharks, wherever you get podcasts. And of course, you can watch on YouTube as well.